but there's lots of other ways that you can approach risk in a way that makes it more fun, I think.
Hey, it's Walter here, and you're at the Think Profit podcast, where we're going to help you develop a rock-solid trading confidence and avoid the potentially endless cycle of system switching. Right, Hugh?
That's right. We're going to help you develop a wealth mindset, develop a trading strategy that fits your core personality, and help you overcome the obstacles that stop over 90% of traders.
All right, Hugh, sounds good. You ready to go?
Yeah, let's do this.
Hey, Hugh. So I have a question here from a trader, and he's doing a good job. He's working really hard. He's very excited about his progress because he knows he's going to make progress now. He's looking at his backtesting data in much more detail than he did before, and so we're uncovering some things. But he's getting a little bit frustrated, thinking, you know what? I don't know if this is actually going to work. I'm not sure if my strategy is good enough to get to where I want it to be to work to achieve my goals. So tell me what you would say. Like, what would be your a roadmap or whatever? Because I've got my own for him, but I'm just curious, like, what other people would say. So he's got a system. He likes the system. He's got his data. He's gonna dig more into the details of the data. But it's like he's like, it's not really hitting that percentage amount that I really want, and I'm not sure. Is this really it? He's kind of like, is this really what trading is going to look like for me?
Yeah, no, that's the biggest obstacle to overcome, right? I had the same thing in the beginning too. I would say that number one, are you coming in with a preconceived notion, like we talked about in the last episode, of does this need to be like an 80% win rate strategy, and kind of review that and ask yourself, okay, am I maybe expecting too much out of just one system or just one currency pair when I need to spread it across multiple currency pairs, multiple markets, and multiple time frames? And then number two, if it's working and the data looks good, then just start trading that. And then unless you have something better you can replace it with, then just go with that, and you'll get some experience out of that strategy. And then you could replace it later with something that you find better. And number three, if you don't want to start trading live, then maybe start exploring spreading it across multiple markets, have like one or two tweaks in the strategy and trade 2 or 3 versions of the strategy and see how that back tests out. Try and trade on multiple markets, multiple time frames, and see if you can amplify the strategy that way. What do you think?
Right. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, those are great. I was trying to think of, like, when I talked to him, I'm like, okay, I want you to know what to focus on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like we want to make this as simple as possible. So it's like you're putting all of your trading efforts into this. So it's like, first, get your data, get your backtesting data. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
as long as it looks good, then we're not going to question the entry rules. We're going to say the entry rules are fine because my data looks good. Fine. Now, if it didn't look good, we would question the entry rules and we'd have a look at that. We could examine that with a separate test. Then it's like, all right, if you don't like what you see here, what is it that you don't like? Okay, based on all these multiple markets, like you said, we always say, so is it you want a higher win rate, you want a higher reward risk ratio, you want more trades? Like what is it that because you can get more trades by trading more markets and more time frames. You can get a higher reward risk ratio by changing your exits, which is usually where we end up at the second stage. After we get the initial data, we tweak the exits. That's usually how we do that. And so I said, look, don't worry about it. Just get your data. And then once we get your data, we'll have a look at it. And then we'll start to talk about exits. And you might have to rehash your old data. There's different ways to do that. Some are faster than others. But the idea is that now we can compare. We go, okay, these are the exact same trades here with this exit versus this exact same trades, but with the exit B. And now we're starting to think about, okay, is this something I'm happier with? Because it's probably going to adjust the win rate too, right? So you have to deal with that. And then finally, once you get through that, you get to an exit you really like, then it's all about the risk. It's all about the risk. And what I mean by that is, everyone knows about fixed lot size, like always trade one lot, or fixed fractional, where I always trade 2%. Or some people might know about fixed ratio, which is the Ryan Jones method. But there's lots of other ways that you can approach risk in a way that makes it more fun, I think. And so, yeah, and can be, higher peaks in your equity curve. So it just depends on, what your goals are. And you could break it up too. Like you could have a what's the Three Little Bears where it's like too hot, too cold, just right, or whatever.
Goldilocks.
Like you can do, yeah, Goldilocks. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Goldilocks. Yeah, yeah. I do that with my accounts. I have 1, 2, and 3. I have the big conservative. I have the medium one, right, medium size,
Hmm.
which is a little bit more aggressive, and then I have my small account, which is hyper aggressive. It's like, can we triple our account this year, sort of thing. You know what I mean? And it's like
Yeah. Yeah.
some of those times they blow up, and that's okay. That's part of the that's all factored into the risk, right? So yeah. And there are trade copiers that you can use to make sure that the same trades. If you're using I like to use strategies on different accounts, right, to keep them separate. But so
Hmm.
you can use a trade copier and you can copy it across all of them if you want. If you want to, make it easier. If you're, because it is kind of painful. Sometimes it'll take you like 40 minutes to put all your trades in. And it's like, oh my gosh. Anyway, so yeah, that's how I approach it, and that's how I suggest it. And he was pretty happy with that because sometimes people get overwhelmed, in training. They're like, okay, I've got this problem. Like, I don't know, what do I do? Where do I? Is it this? Is it that? And the answer usually is we don't know, but let's do this, and then we'll find out if it's A, and then we'll do this, and we'll find out if it's B. And it's like a mechanic, looking at the car, and they're like, well, it could be the alternator, but I'm not sure. It could be the battery.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Have people been doing like a lot of semi-automated or automated backtesting, or is it all manual stuff?
No, most of them are doing manual. However,
Mm.
with the naked dash market software that Dennis,
Mhm.
so some traders I know are actually using that because it's so easy for them to set up like a script to automate, you know what I mean, to automate their tests.
Mhm.
And so they're like, if you have a really simple rules-based one, so some of the traders I'm working with are actually doing that, and they love it because it's so fast. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
they
yeah,
love
no.
naked.
I
Yeah,
was gonna
yeah,
bring
I
that
know, I
up.
know.
Yeah.
I mentioned it because I know you love it. You love it. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's totally worth it because even if you don't fully automate it, you can at least automate little parts of it, like the entry or the exit, and then you can go in there and tweak that entry or exit, and then just drag and drop, and it's good.
Yeah, exactly, and that's exactly what some of the traders I'm working with have been doing. Where we have that, we go, okay, we did the back test, and we have these
Mhm.
results, and say, how would it look with a different exit? So they just snap on that automated exit, and then they do the back test again, and they get the results. So you know what I mean? I'm
Mhm.
not doing that. I should be doing that, but they're doing that right now. I'm still on Forex Tester. I need to move over to naked markets because I know it's better. But it's just, it's the pain of learning new and all that. So I know.
Yeah,
I need to
especially
do
if
it.
it's working already, right? So.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I sent one of my students. I sent her the link to one of your videos on. I think it was on Forex Tester. Like it was something. I was like, I'm not gonna make a video for you here. Just use Hughes. It's really good. You know what I mean? It was
Yeah,
like
yeah.
setting up the project or something, or like when you set the swap and all that and the spread and everything. I think that's what it was.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it was
I'm
yeah,
glad it
because
helped.
you yeah, you do a good job with your videos like that. If people haven't seen those videos, you should check them out. Like if you're like, oh, okay, like especially if you're like, oh, okay, I'll do my back testing. I know I should be doing my back testing, right? And you're like, you don't know where to start. I would go and check out Hugh's YouTube channel because he's got some good stuff in there for that. Really good stuff
Oh,
in that
nice.
in that area. Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, with naked markets, it actually takes a while. It took me maybe a few weeks to figure out all that stuff. So if I can help people like speed up that process, I think it really does help backtest faster.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Thanks, Walter.
Thanks.
All information in this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only and is not trading or investment advice.